Hello everybody, and welcome back once again to my F1 My Team Career Mode. We are at a rain-soaked Australia for the qualifying session of the Australian Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last one from Bahrain, do be sure to check that one out before you check this one out. Anyway, I can now show you the Season 3 livery. Here it is in its glory. We honour the black of the Lotus, but also throw in some JT Joe H2O colours with the orange and purple thrown in as well. So it's kind of a mixture there, but what we have is our Season 3 livery now, and I think it looks absolutely smexy. Anyway, here we are qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. It is very wet, there is very little grip, but nevertheless I'm going to try and set a competitive lap time. And so far this one looks good, but I do believe we can go a little bit quicker, completing the first lap, and I do believe we are going to top the timesheet, which we do. But it's what happens next that confuses me. So I pulled over to let Norris go. Norris jams on the brakes, and then here comes Sainz at full pelt, and he smashes into Lando Norris. The car-Lando friendship ending right there. I don't know what went on. I moved over to let Lando through, and he then decided to just stop on the racing line, and Sainz just turns up unsighted, and well, that friendship could very well end there. But here we are going about a second faster than our first lap, and just finding the grip to go faster. And as we come out of the last corner, Norris going quicker despite the massive whack he received from Sainz. But then we top the timesheets once again. But by the end of Q1, the conditions are changing, and I'm now on intermediate tyres doing one further lap. I do not want to be caught out here, but we are going quick enough, I think, to get us through this Q1 session. Out of the last corner, just finding somehow some level of grip down the straight, and I think this should be comfortable enough to get us into Q2, which it is. We have topped the timesheets there. Meanwhile, Q2, the track is now dry, and I feel confident enough to have left it until we take slicks to do a lap. I did not want to do an unnecessary lap and put strain on the engine. Qualifying is now complete, so I've literally got this one lap on slicks to make the difference. Out of the last corner, Verstappen goes quickest, and I think we might have dethroned Verstappen. And now in Q3, our lap time feels quite good, but that little slide there will have cost us a little bit of time. Nonetheless, we sprint for the line, and what's it gonna be? It is P7. Not the best lap we could have had then, but it's going to make things interesting for the race. I definitely feel like we can move forward from there. But for now, it is P7 on the grid. Lando Norris on pole, Charles Leclerc second, with Verstappen and Gasly taking the second row.
Qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix. You can hear the Australian fans roaring as they line the track here in Albert Park. Welcome to Melbourne, and the roar from the crowd can only mean one thing. It's race day. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 14 corners and 3.28 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles per hour. Close proximity of the barriers make accidents inevitable. Recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Gasly, Russell, Ocon, Sparkles, Bottas, Stroll, Théo Pourchaire, Albon, Drugovich, Liam Lawson, Perez, Joe, Tsunoda, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, De Vries, Sainz and Oscar Piastri. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And let's...
Here we go then, the Australian Grand Prix is ahead of us. 29 laps begins now, and it's a good start that we have made. George Russell, however, really not getting away from the grid, and Esteban Ocon trying to cover the inside of one, and I nearly got passed back by George Russell there, who found some grip, found some speed, and now we're going to try and find a way down the inside of Ocon, who's covered the inside line pretty well. I'm going to try and sweep round the outside. No way through there. Russell again having a look. No way through for Russell. So, tucking into Esteban Ocon, who's directly behind Charles Leclerc. And I can't see who's directly ahead of him. It's Pierre Gasly. But Gasly's just broken away a little bit from Leclerc. As I tuck into the rear wing of Ocon. Switch on overtake. Let's see if we can get a little slipstream round the outside here. And you know what? Ocon looked like he broke there. I don't know what happened or how he lost that much momentum, but Ocon just seemed to lose a bit there, and we were able to capitalise and go round the outside and move into P5, and now we are targeting Charles Leclerc's Ferrari for P4, using that special Monza livery which will be in place for the rest of this season of career mode. So the Ferrari using that special Monza livery up until the end of the season. Round the outside we go on Charles Leclerc, and that moved pretty straightforward as well as we move into P4, and this car is feeling very, very fast here. I definitely feel like the win could be on the cards here if we make our way through as quickly as we are doing, because this car feels really quick, really competitive, and in terms of making a car that I feel like could fight for the championship, I think it's just about there. Right, Gasly's tried to get past Verstappen, no way through, and with how compromised Gasly was from 1 into 2, we have just taken him candy from a baby, and now we are right behind the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. This one could be a little bit trickier to get past. You are never going to frighten Max Verstappen off the road or into a mistake. Norris is just about checked out in front. He's got a 2-ish second gap to Verstappen, and Norris trying to pull out that gap, but we're now trying to close in on Verstappen, and we now have DRS to help us out on one of the fastest parts of the circuit, and we're going to go down the inside of the Red Bull driver, and that was pretty straightforward there. I think Verstappen may have gone deep, and now he's under pressure from Pierre Gasly, who's going to try and take a look around the outside. Is Gasly going to pull this move off? Yes, he does. And now Verstappen is at the mercy of Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. And Gasly, a driver reborn in this race now, trying to take a dive up the inside of me. But he's not quite going to make that one work as I cover the inside for the next corner. Gasly really going for it here. And you know what? That first win of the season in Bahrain really igniting something of a charge in Gasly, as we now watch our teammate Felipe Drugovich trying to improve his position on Lance Stroll. Round the outside he goes, and he should have that one covered. Drugovich up to 9th, having a fair go this weekend, but I really would like to see him closer to the top 5. But for now, Drugovich having an okay race. We're trying to catch Lando Norris. We're about 1.5 seconds behind him, and I'm trying to bring that gap down further, but Norris proving to be very quick and tough to catch. We went a little bit deep on the exit there, as we now watch Pierre Gasly trying to cover off Max Verstappen, and Gasly's gone deep into one, and that has allowed Verstappen through, and we're now going to watch that onboard Gasly's POV. Wide he goes. It looked like he just locked up his tyre. Through goes Verstappen, and through goes Leclerc into P4. And now Charles Leclerc is the driver on the charge, because he's having a look at Max Verstappen. Round the outside, is the Ferrari going to be able to get past? Yes, he is. Leclerc improving his position up to 3rd. And you know what? While those guys are battling, I'm going to take that opportunity to pit and let them all fight each other, and we should have some relatively clear air. Unfortunately, however, Norris stopping a couple of laps before us, and that has enabled him to get a couple more seconds down the road. But our tyres are fresher, and they are the hard tyres. So when Norris's tyres start to feel a bit second-hand towards the end of the race, this might come to us. So I'm feeling pretty confident with the strategy we've got. And already by lap 21, we've got that gap back down to a second and a half, which was pretty much where we were before the pit stops, except I'm now homing in by a few tenths every lap. I am confident we can win this race. I am feeling a race win is on the cards here. I am like a bloodhound. I've caught the sense of victory and I'm now charging towards the McLaren ahead of me. I know what I want and I want this win. So we're pushing hard for it. And meanwhile, we're watching the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. His race ends in a puff of smoke. That's unfortunate for him, but he wasn't having a particularly good outing anyway, down the lower end of the field after smashing into Norris's McLaren in qualifying. And now we're watching Felipe Drugovich improve his position further as he goes round the outside of Valtteri Bottas to take P8. So Drugovich, again, gaining another position. He's going all right. Pierre Gasly has fallen down the field in this race, though. He is down to P7 when we look, so I've no idea what's happening to him. But we've now got DRS on Lando Norris. We've caught right up to him. It is time to go all-out attack. It is time to charge for this win. Can we get him here? We've got a decent run, but Norris, I think, just a little bit quicker as we use more curb. And Norris just about too far ahead this time. But I feel like the overtake could be on imminently. Next lap, we are getting even closer, and I'm going to use this part of the track to get closer, but no! Our engine has failed, and we are out of the Australian Grand Prix, and a race that was looking like it was going to have a grandstand finish goes up in smoke, and it is all over.
We've witnessed some great battles on the streets of Melbourne today then, and they've taken a fantastic win. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they are very much at one with the car, which is a cliche, but it's true. It's not an easy process, and that work is very much paying off.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium. Pierre Gasly, our championship
I can imagine Lando Norris would have been breathing a huge sigh of relief to see our car go up in smoke. But it's heartbreak for us in a race that I'm fairly sure the win was on there. But Lando Norris keeping that lead then, keeping the win. Charles Leclerc gets second, Max Verstappen rounds out the podium. Then it's Russell, Gasly getting past Esteban Ocon in the end. Drugovich a decent outing in P7. But, the race win was there. Pierre Gasly retains the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Lando Norris with that win moves into second. Charles Leclerc is third. Then it's Russell, Verstappen, Porsche, and we are down in P7 after a gutting retirement. Well, I don't know what else to say other than that. There are positives to take. The pace was there, But again, it's another race where it was left on the table. We could have won in Bahrain, but for underfueling. And we could have won here, but for the car issues. So, we need to do better. Hopefully the next race will be better for us. And we will grab a win and get our championship fight on track. But for now, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you're new here and you want to see more content from me. Till the next time, I've been Joe. I'm now going to sign off in frustration. TTFN, ta-ta for now.